Commander Volk peered anxiously at the holographic display hovering over the central table in the warship's command chamber. Strange vessels had been detected on the edge of their domain, gigantic ships bristling with weapons that seemed crafted for annihilation. "Run the analysis again," Volk ordered the sensor operator with a twitch of segmented fingers. The operator replayed the enhanced imaging of the largest alien warship. It was a brutal, angular beast decorated with insignia and alien script, but most concerning was the massive armament protruding from its hull, rows of gun placements larger than Volk's own flagship. "Carry on," Volk demanded. His first officer addressed the room. "Sensors confirm the ships entered our space unannounced. All hails go unanswered. Their drive signatures don't match any known species." A murmur of unease arose amongst the bridge personnel until Volk silenced them with an upraised limb. "Speculation is pointless. Prepare our force for immediate departure. We will intercept these intruders and demand an explanation for their intrusion. If they prove hostile, Volk let the threat hang as imaginations filled in the rest." The crew scrambled to action, energizing shields, loading torpedo bays, powering up scanners, and maneuvering thrusters. Within the hour, Volk's armada of 10 battle cruisers transited to the aliens' location. But the scene unfolding on the view screens overwhelmed even Volk's expectations. A dozen hulking vessels faced them in perfect tactical formation, bristling with more firepower than his entire fleet combined. "Open a hailing frequency," Volk growled. Only Static answered his challenge to identify themselves and submit to boarding. Unused to facing being so bold as to spurn communication, Volk had no choice but to initiate the first strike if they refused compliance. "Lock weapons!" And before the order finished, enemy guns roared to life in a blinding barrage. Volk's command deck dissolved into shrieks as plasma storms engulfed them, breaching hulls across the fleet. Evasive action, he howled over the explosions, but return volleys were hopelessly late. 2 battle cruisers disintegrated under the onslaught within seconds. On the aliens' lead warship, Commander Kyle watched passively from the CIC as target telemetry scrolled across display panels. "Hold fire and let them scatter," he ordered. His XO nodded acknowledgement, and the human guns fell silent. Their message delivered, Volk whipped the smoldering remnants of his forces into retreat, astonished that any species could unleash such deadly coordination. But in scattering, they exposed another horror. Torpedo bays along the alien's hull split open like 1,000 mouths, unleashing a black tide of explosives that engulfed his fleet. Ship's anti-ship drones swarmed from launch tubes to cut off escape. Through flickering static on the command deck view screens, Volk witnessed more of his heaviest vessels obliterated within moments, their dissolving armored shells casting eerie illumination across the void. Mad with rage and fear, he howled for every remaining weapon to concentrate their fury on a single alien target to at least claim one victim in this butchery. But the aliens were ghostly performers, evading broadsides and counterstrikes with contemptuous ease. Within minutes, Volk had lost half his fleet without inflicting a scratch. His panic peaked as the enemy then calmly closed to point-blank range, energy lances spearing his cruiser through vital systems with surgical precision. Escape pods jettisoned from shattered airlocks as the lights flickered and died across the warship. Volk floated in zero gravity amidst the flotsam and bodies of his crew, watching helplessly as the giant ships reformed their combat formation unscathed. He had faced many foes in his campaigns of conquest, but never an enemy so devoid of weakness or mercy. These were not normal aliens, they were demons from the depths of nightmare, come to extract punishment for sins against the balance of the stars. The human fleet continued their advance further into alien territory unopposed. Wreckages of downed alien warships drifted aimlessly amongst the stars, a grim reminder of their overwhelming display of force. Soon, another alien fleet appeared on sensors, 10 times larger than the first. But these ships moved with caution, hanging back while hailing the lead human vessel. Commander Kyle accepted the transmission, facing an assembly of regal-looking aliens in ornate military attire. "I am Admiral Korvax, Supreme Commander of the Grelnak Empire. You will explain the meaning of this unprovoked attack against our border forces," the aliens said imperiously. Kyle remained unfazed. "We come not to invade but to liberate systems under your dominion," he replied bluntly. "For too long your empire has enslaved worlds through tyranny and oppression. We've received distress calls from species begging for aid against your machinations. Korvax's eyes flashed angrily at the accusation. You know nothing of our ways. Our dominance brings prosperity and order where there was once chaos. These client species owe us allegiance for raising them from savagery, he retorted. A convenient lie told by all who seek to rule through fear and subjugation, Kyle shot back. Now you will withdraw your fleets and dismantle the infrastructure supporting slave economies. Any attempt not to do that will be met with a full military response. For the first time, uncertainty entered Korvax as bearing reports of humanity's ferocity in the field were one thing, but facing it directly unnerved him. You are but a few ships against the might of an empire spanning 1,000 worlds. Do not test us, primitives, or you will learn the true meaning of suffering. Then it seems we understand each other, Kyle said calmly. Surrender peacefully, and lives will be spared. Resist, and you bring war upon yourselves. The choice is yours. He terminated the channel, turning to his waiting crew. Status report? Have the rebellion cells commenced as planned? He asked. Affirmative, sir, the XO replied. Slave uprisings are breaking out across 6 nearby systems already under Grelnak control. Their fleets are scrambling to regain order. Kyle nodded in satisfaction. Then it's time to widen the rift. Launch fighters to provide air support to the rebels and tell the fleet to set course for the penitentiary world of Arconia. We're breaking out the resistance fighters imprisoned there. Below on Arconia, inmates toiled under lash and shock collar in brutal mineral mines. But voices carried on the wind heralded change as human stealth craft screamed low over mountain ridges, releasing electron bombs to fry sentry systems into blackened ruins. Landing parties burst from hatches within Vero-sealed armor and plasma weapons blazing. Prisoners scattered in terror at first sight of the armored titans emerging from the dusk. They were assured of liberation. Within hours, the facility lay in smoking ruins, its masters beaten into paste. Tens of thousands of freed slaves rallied beneath the colors of Earth. Kyle watched it all unfold from orbit, satisfied at the chaos. As word spread, more desperate pleas flooded in via FTL-com relays, begging for human intervention against age-old oppressors. The flame of rebellion had been lit, and from its flickering glow, a new dawn might emerge over countless worlds once thought lost to tyranny eternal. His pilot reported anomalous sensor echoes from the dark side of a gas giant. On reading energy signatures, it could be survivors from the initial attack regrouping. Kyle nodded. Take us in quietly and scan for life forms. If hostiles are present, dispatch them swiftly and retrieve any refugees for extraction. The stealth-enhanced destroyer slipped unseen into the turbulent storms of the gas giant. Scan sweeps revealed a hollowed-out asteroid sheltering distressed life signs amidst lingering plasma instabilities. Dropships launched under cloak with instructions to locate survivors and exterminate any remnants of the enemy presence. Reports soon came back. Multiple injured aliens had indeed taken refuge alongside others. Unknown medical teams moved to stabilize the wounded as soldier teams swept the surrounding rock for any lingering combat systems. To Kyle's surprise, amongst the rescued stood a pair of females different from the humanoids, squat and four-armed bodies covered in coarse hair and speaking an unfamiliar dialect. Their translator spoke, "We are the last of Yorg and had once been citizens of the moon of Igarth, conquered by Korvax's ancestors eras past. Forced into bonded labor and unable to breed, our numbers dwindled to these last 2 survivors, now all that remain of our lost world." Kyle gazed on them with pity. In fighting injustice upon others, their pain would not be forgotten. A new home for the Yorg would be found, and their story ensured through the generations. The enemy fleet massed once more, angered at the destruction of their property but fearful of engaging the humans directly. The apocalypse had come, and only through unleashing humanity's righteous fury could liberation be wrought from the ashes of oppressors who knew only rule through subjugation and slavery. Admiral Korvax seethed with rage as his best ships engaged the human fleet. "These vermin dare question our dominion," he raged. "Their insolence will be punished with nuclear fire." The tiny force was obliterated, but reports soon shocked him. Plasma bolts flashed faster than sight, gutting cruisers through a blend of armor. Distress calls wailed in panic from vessels disintegrating within seconds. Commander Kyle watched the carnage dispassionately from CIC. Target engines only. Don't destroy their empire yet, he ordered. Lances lashed out at thruster clusters, crippling the aliens in place while minimizing loss of life. But their officers kept hurling wrecks at the humans in kamikaze death throes, preferring destruction to surrender. Admiral, stand down, or we bombard all military and leadership structures on your homeworld, Kyle warned. Only bleak silence answered. He sighed, nodding to fire control. Orbital defenses around the forested planet flared under precise bombardment, pyres mushrooming across night-side continents. Still, Korvax would not yield, oblivious to the suffering below. Korvax observed the global conflagration with glassy eyes, broken at the sight of their slave-built civilizations collapsing under Terran wrath. His ships were lost, his empire unraveling, all dominion crumbling within hours of humanity's arrival. A calm burst dragged him from shock. More alien ships had arrived at the system's fringe. Viewing the strange, bulky construction flowering like cyclopean mushrooms, even Kyle felt unease. Unidentified vessels, this is Commander Kyle of the Earth Defense Force, he hailed. An androgynous voice replied, greetings. I am Emissary L of the Megarachnid Hegemony. We observed your, it paused, unfamiliar lexicon struggling to encapsulate the events. Disciplinary action against the Grelnag and wish to broker peace. Your methods seem expedient. Suspicion lit Kyle's brow. We did not request your aid. State your intent, he said firmly. L responded in a soothing tone, we merely wish to avoid further bloodshed. The Grelnag were a blight, but under our guidance, other species thrive in progress and cooperation. Join our alliance, and you will share in our prosperity. Resist, and meet the same fate as the Grelnags, who are now under our protection. As it spoke, its maw curved in what seemed a smug grin. We bow to no threats from any power, Kyle replied coldly. On the prow cameras, he saw Megarachnid dreadnoughts swarming around the two fleets, surrounding them like prey. Their message was clear, humanity would either be crushed or assimilated under this new dominance. Yet inwardly, Kyle smiled. For unknown to the newcomers, Earth's stealthy legions had been prowling the frontier's dark regions in secret. As the Megarachnid fleet closed in, a flash seared the void. Sensor ghosts dissolved as hidden arcs decloaked around the hegemony ships. Prime weapons charged in eerie tandem, targeting locks bursting from concealed pods. Thank you for coming. Now you will face judgment for your empty claims, Kyle said. Surrender or share the Grelnag's fate. L hooted derisively until a flash fused by plasma fire. Its mind ruptured in shock upon realizing too late that humanity's power extended far beyond this single system. The Leviathan escorts never saw the missile spiraling in, bursting armor and triggering chain reactions that erupted fusion cores. Within moments, the benevolent invaders lay in radioactive ruins, their strength shattered by a foe they could not outmatch in open war. Kyle surveyed the aftermath calmly. The Grelnag would rebuild under humanity's oversight. Any species seeking freedom and equality would find shelter. None could stand against humanity. Their frontier would now expand in peace with fleets ensuring the rights of all. With enemies broken and oppressors vanquished, a new order had risen this day, forged under the banner of terror.